Hey everybody, Ty Peak from Peak Performance Parts, and in today's video we're going to be installing Dakota digital gauges in our customer's 1971 Chevelle. It does have the SS cluster rather than the Malibu cluster. We'll put a link to the part number for this specific car down below. You can find that on peakperformanceparts.com. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking off our dash pad in order to get the cluster out. So there are 6 screws that are holding the actual dash pad down to the dash itself. But first you need to make sure you get your steering column out of the way. You don't have to take it all the way out, but you will need to loosen the 2 bolts that hold the steering column up. You can actually just set it down out of the way. So we're going to get that out of the way right now. There are clips that hold this thing down in the back, just like if you're familiar with any kind of GM product from 70s through the 80s. There are clips that just it scoops down in there and holds it, so pop it up just like that. And if we're lucky, they're all actually present, but no, they're not. There's only 2 on here. There should be 6, but let's get this out of the way so we don't damage it. You're gonna have 1 here, 1 down here. There should be 1 kind of hidden up underneath the steering column, but I don't believe it's there any longer. We're gonna have 1 here, 1 down here. What we'll probably do, we need to try to keep all the wiring harness, because when you pull this whole dash assembly is gonna come out. And as you can see, it's actually broken, so it's not really being held up right there. So this might be something that we replace. It is already kind of cracked in a bunch of places. Normally, you want to be a little bit more gentle with this thing, but given that it is already very much broken, I believe we're going to have to replace this deal, which makes it a little bit easier. So we got the dash tore out of this Chevelle here, and on 71 72 Chevelles, the whole dash assembly has to come out. You can't just take, the cluster out. So we're doing a Dakota digital gauge cluster on this car, and upon taking it out, we found a lot of, it's broken here, it's broken down here. It's broken over here. It's all the way cracked down through here. So we just went ahead and got us a whole new dash assembly. So we got a whole new dash assembly, got a new gauge housing as well. We're putting a new stereo in it. We just have to reuse the ashtray out of this guy. We'll be good to go. Let's get this thing unwrapped. There we go. Yeah. Hopefully nothing broken. Looks all right so far. Good job packaging. So, ideally, let's just kind of grab it in the middle here and maybe not destroy it. Oh, the best way to unpackage this. Let me get this thing unpackaged. All right, so it's already looking really good. Really nice piece here. Nice and clean, all the chrome bezels, this is pretty nice little piece. You know, compared to the old one, it's gonna look real nice. Nice little spot for the radio. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. So now we'll get the Dakota digital gauges assembled in the back of the housing and get that bolted up in there. Then we can start, you know, bolting components into this thing. Once the radio comes in, we can slide that dude in there and we'll be ready to rock. Alright, so after much back and forth on the dash here, we've had this thing in and out a bunch of times, none of which I filmed, so my bad on that. But this is more or less in here and ready to be living in its home forever now. So we've got all our wiring up and laid out to the box here. It's all wired in, mostly set up. There is some setup that is required for you to drive, so we'll have to take it out for a drive and we'll set the speedometer, but all the other sensors are configured, and the lighting is somewhat set up. So now got that. It's telling us to calibrate the speed. Clocks aren't set yet, but we have it all wired into our switches. Dimmer doesn't work. You can't use these older rheostat style dimmers on these gauges here. You have to run it to an external dimmer, but nonetheless. So for those wondering, yes, there's plenty of room underneath the dash. This is just double-sided taped and Velcro, so this is easily removed. For servicing, you just have to remove the 6 screws that hold the dash pad on, pop that dude out, and this is easy to get to with a little pocket screwdriver. Pull your wires out and you're ready to go. You can service this module here. All the wiring is down along the rail and for the actual frame of the dash, and we're all wired in. So that wraps it up for the Dakota digital install. Everything should be ready to go. Once we get this thing back rolling, we're going to calibrate the speedometer, and then we should be ready to rock on the gauges. See you next time.